Over-the-top moments on paternity court.
He got me drunk at the house and trying to get the truth out of me, Your Honor.
Yes,
I was
so
drunk.
did he get the truth out of you?
I had sex with his brother. We had a threesome, so there's three possibilities, three possible fathers of my daughter.
She sent her mother pictures, and I guess she sent Mr. Rutledge pictures, and he called, and he told her that he hoped my baby died.
Miss Chappelle's daughter is denied because her alleged daddy's girlfriend doesn't want both girls around.
You say the defendant, Mr. Todd, is without a doubt your daughter, Walicia's biological father. You say the only reason he denies her is because his fiancée, Miss Collins, doesn't want him in your life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you're suing Mr. Todd for $2,475 for babysitting expenses and for lost wages.
Yes, ma'am.
However, Mr. Collins was in paternity court with his own suit.
Fiancé are countersuing in the amount of $375 for car windows you claim the plaintiff destroyed. Why do you feel you're owed $2,475 for these expenses?
I had a job, Your Honor, and he was babysitting the baby for me. And after he didn't babysit anymore, I had to start paying $75 a week for babysitting fees.
After initial testimonies, the trial took a grumpy turn like this.
Wash Walicia?
I never watched Wallis.
Your Honor, he has.
I don't even have a place to stay myself.
He has dropped me off at
I'm not even staying.
All right,
work
just
before.
a minute. You two were in a sexual relationship.
Yes.
It wasn't no
what type
relationship.
of, it wasn't a relationship.
No.
You were just having sex.
Just having sex.
Judge Lake tried to make sense of what was going on, but it didn't go too well.
If you were having sex and she got pregnant, were you using protection every time?
No. At the time when we met, I was pregnant.
But
Your Honor.
at that-
We never used.
When
never
we met,
used
she was
condoms.
pregnant.
We never used. But he accepted
But-
me with
but
me
the
and my
other
baby.
thing, Wallis-
With
All
someone
right,
else's
all
baby.
right.
One at a time, people.
You admit that you were having sex with other people in addition to Mr. Todd during the window of conception?
No, Your Honor.
You're a liar.
She was not even in the picture, Your Honor, so she has
She
nothing to
just-
do with this.
What-
We was
what
together
picture that
here.
was?
2011, I was pregnant with someone else, baby. Our baby was already here when they met you on.
Listen.
All right.
Let's get to the countersuing part.
You also have a counterclaim.
Yes.
You are asking for $375
Yes, Your Honor.
for car windows you say the plaintiff destroyed.
Call him a phone, Your Honor.
Chappelle approached me and bust my window out of my car. I called the police on the scene, and I had proof that
Lies.
she bust out my windows on my car.
The defendant's girlfriend added this to the trial.
I first met Miss Chappelle. We let her move in with me and Mr. Todd. We let her move in.
You let Miss Chappelle move into the house with you two?
Yes, because where she was living at was not healthy for her, the baby. I had a conversation with Mr. Todd. He said, this is a girl trying to put a baby on me, saying that this could be my baby.
But Miss Chappelle was not ready to make any acquisitions.
You ever recall saying that
No,
baby
Your
Walicia
Honor.
had another father?
Your
She's
Honor.
lying.
No, Your Honor. No,
And
Your
so,
Honor.
why are you so certain that Mr. Todd is your child's father?
Because when we was together, I told him that I was pregnant. But he was like, our child would be the prettiest child, whatever. And I was like, okay.
The contrary claims further drove baby mama to this edge.
Going to do an interview downtown at that same time around she had the baby. Once I got in there, the doctor said, who is the father? What one of y'all the father? I said, who it looked like. The doctor said, it looked like my friend.
It looked like his brother.
No.
He had his two brothers with him and said, look like,
Let's get some order.
Oh man, this is some mess.
What a mess!
Mess with no.
You was
my girl who I with for 8 years.
All right,
Foster.
listen,
she wasn't in my-
listen. Y'all playing tic-tac-toe or something.
Yeah,
I mean, you just
but-
here, there, everywhere. What?
But this is his baby, he know it.
This sexual activity with no protection.
The judge was more focused on the denial part than the show both sides were putting on.
He say I've been messing with other men, but he never denied her until he get with his fiance. She put in his head that this not his baby. Yes, I did live with them, Your Honor, but I did not get to argue with them. I never left on a bad term.
She wasn't
we
even
was
in the
good
picture.
term when I got my badge and I left. And we was never in an argument
Honor.
or anything, Your Honor. We was in good terms.
Let's see who's wrong and who was right.
Mr. Todd, you are not the father. And you're smiling, Miss Chappelle?
Because at the end of the day, this is his child. What they did, they say I ain't having sex with no one else.
Oh boy, that's bad.
he would not babysit for the child and you lost your job. You could not sue him because he was not able to babysit. And now since we've determined that in fact Walisi is not his biological child, he doesn't even have a moral obligation or legal obligation to babysit for this child. For that reason, your claim is denied.
Street Drummer knows he's not the defendant's child's father and wants his name back.
The defendant was just a week-long fling, and you are certain you are not the biological father of her 2-month-old daughter, Lainey. Once today's results prove what you already know, you want your last name back. Is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Evans was suffering from doubts due to these factors.
The baby doesn't look like me from the get-go. Like, as soon as I saw her, I was just like, she don't look like me. She doesn't have my nose, she doesn't have my eyes, like features, you know, that would resemble me. And she doesn't look anything like me. I just want to know. I mean, if she is mine, then okay, you know, I'll man up, take care of my little girl. But if she's not mine, then I want my name back.
His testimony was too much for Miss Snyder to endure.
You are so emotional.
Yes, Your Honor, because I just want to prove that he's the father and how much I love her and all that.
And when you think about a man denying your baby and saying, she's not mine,
It just makes me mad.
I can see you just can't take your eyes off of. What are you feeling in this moment right now?
Emotional and kind of sad.
Why?
It's overwhelming right now.
She was sure the plaintiff was the father.
Had sex for a week.
A couple times during the week, yes.
And you were there all week.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's why you're saying he's Lainey's biological father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you know you don't have no business playing drums out there on the street, then coming back home with some woman, and you don't have no business coming home with him and not using no protection.
Yes, Your Honor. I understand that now.
Intentionally, Mr. Evans felt the same. But when he saw the baby girl, his feelings changed.
I'm thinking it's mine because I didn't know that she may have been with somebody else or anything like that. I'm thinking that time that we were together was I was the only person that she was with, conceived during that time. If everything goes as planned, you know, I'll be there, you know, when the baby's born and everything like that. But work kept me held up, so I didn't get back until sometime in January after the baby was born. When I saw the baby, I was just like, are you sure she's mine?
And this is what made the suspicion stronger.
Or could it be anyone else's baby? Did you ask?
Yes, after I saw her, I did.
What did she tell you when you asked her?
She said that she had slept with someone else.
Miss Snyder, who's this other person you slept with?
I do admit I slept with someone else, but we also used protection. What would have been after the conception date, though? It was like a week or two afterwards.
All right.
So this is what the other guy had to say about the dilemma at hand.
He sent in the following statement. I admit sleeping with Amanda, but I did use a condom. The condom did not break, so I know that baby is not mine. This statement, it basically is in line with your testimony, that you did have sex, you did use protection, you don't think he's the father, he doesn't think he's the father.
Yes.
Then who is the father? Maybe the conception calendar will help.
Window of conception around the end of March to the first week of April. That leads you to believe that Mr. Evans is Lainey's biological father. And Mr. Evans is the only man you were sleeping with during that time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sleep with anybody else on the 31st?
No, Your Honor.
We only got one concrete solution to this.
Mr. Evans, you are not the father. You were right, Mr. Evans. You are not her biological father. I'm sorry, I know that wasn't the result you thought you were going to get today. Have you informed this other man that he could potentially be the biological father?
Told him.
The limbo has been ridden by too many men without anyone taking action. Even the defendant is ready to step in.
And you argue that Ms. Johnson had a sexual relationship with 2 other men, and you fear one of those men are the child's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Blackman, who are these other men?
There's 3 men that could possibly be her baby daddy.
Who are these 3 men?
Her ex-boyfriend before me, and this man sitting next to me who I consider a brother. Since I was in high school, like, me and him have just been running buddies. Lavish lifestyle. We're from Houston, Texas. We really don't care about the women.
Please explain that now.
My dad a Casanova, and he taught us 2 rules. Nobody mess with anybody's girl, and that second rule was nobody has a girl.
However, the plaintiff was sure that no one but the defendant was the baby daddy.
When I first met Mr. Blackman, I was already in a relationship. I was well taken care of. I was driving the high-end cars. I was going to the nicest restaurants. Me and my son had no need or want for anything. I jumped out of a relationship with my ex to be with him because there was an instant connection. And 2 weeks after I moved in with the defendant, I had sex with his brother. We had a threesome, so there's 3 possibilities, 3 possible fathers of my daughter.
Till now, it was all a regular idea. But what Mr. Blackman said next made our jaws drop.
If you act like that, you get treated like that.
Men ain't supposed to be like you.
You get treated like that.
Be like you.
From where it sounds like the pot calling the kettle black. Now, you meet a girl, you have a connection, you wind up letting your brother have sex with her, you all have a threesome. Are you now standing there suggesting to this court that you got your feelings hurt?
Oh, that wasn't all. Looks like this is the way he tested the women around him.
The other woman I've been with who really loved me, they wouldn't even accept being with my brother. But she had no problem with it, so it was like a test for me to go ahead and let her go.
But she's still with me though, and you had a baby with me that we purposely did.
So hold on, you're in a relationship with an older man, and then you all out with the old, in with the new, right?
We just had that instant connection.
Now it was time for the so-called brother to speak.
The young woman he moved into his home, did you feel like you had permission to do this from your brother?
My dad, he's a Rolling Stone. You know, he call it fishing. You throw the bait in, if the fish catch it, if it's a good fish, you keep it, but if it's not a good fish, you throw it back, you know?
And then what if it gets fried, like the both of you? How many times were you intimate with Mr. Gross?
Twice, both with Vincent's permission.
Your Honor.
Okay, this is just getting straight up gross, isn't it?
I made a mistake.
This is new to you, I can tell, Mr. Blackman.
You started this. It was you who did this? It was your idea.
So you had sex with my brother more than 10 times?
It was twice.
She told me that it happened once. Now she telling me it happened twice. Now he telling me it happened 10 times. I don't know who to believe. How am I supposed to get married to her?
I'm not gonna lie to you like that. Come on,
Nonetheless, the trial got more complicated when all cards were placed on the table.
You found out you were pregnant. Who did you think the father was?
Well, my instant thought it was Vincent, because we were actually trying to have a baby. I wasn't trying to have a baby with my ex.
How are you trying to have a baby with a woman and giving her permission to sleep with your brother?
That was really just pillow talking, you know, like that's how.
Why don't you use a condom then?
Were you aware your daughter was in a relationship with Mr. Blackman?
Not at first.
It turns out that Miss Johnson could not show respect to her mother.
I don't approve that, and I'm not raised like that. I sent her to Philippines so she could learn a lesson, our tradition. She never.
Blah, blah, blah.
We have established that you don't have any respect for yourself, but you will respect your mother in this courtroom. Did she tell you at that time whether or not she knew who the father was?
No, ma'am.
Next, some more golden lines came from the defendant's side.
Who do you believe Viviana's father is?
I believe it's Mr. Blackman.
Your Honor, I believe it's not nan one of ours.
That's not true.
If you have sex with 2 men, you had sex with 4. You have sex with 4, you had sex with 8.
That's not true.
You hear from her own mama, she say she wild. Like,
So
man,
now-
I'm talking about the whole population in Houston probably could be the father of this baby. Like, it's no.
You know you're the pappy.
Clearly, these people have a lot to figure out. The only thing we can do now is to get to the results.
It has been determined that her father is Mr. Blackman.
I told you.
Let's give these kiddos some good schooling.
You all have had your fun and sown your oats. I won't even get into what I've heard today and how disgusting most of it was. And both of you, it's time for you all to go behind your door in your home and turn the top lock and lock him out.
Mommy here is done being the only parent, so she wants the daddy to step up.
Ms. Brown, you say the only thing that matters to you today is the future of your 1-year-old daughter, Sanaya.
Yes, Your Honor.
You state you're here to prove the defendant, Mr. Rutledge, is her biological father because she needs 2 parents, yet he's seen her only once in her life.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Rutledge, on the other hand, had a contrary account of the story.
Me and Ms. Brown was never in a relationship. It was only sexual relationship. I met Ms. Brown she was seeing my cousin, they was dating for a while. After they broke up, they split up, whatever. She got with my other cousin, had a one-night stand with him. The product from him got with my brother. When she got with my brother, she ran the same story on my brother and told my brother that she was pregnant by him.
Wow, Mommy, you left out quite a detail, didn't you?
I left them out, Your Honor, because they're not facts. First of all,
Okay.
you don't have to pay for a morning after pill because everyone knows that a morning after pill is free whether you have insurance or not. I never would say, can you pay for a morning after pill? As far as me having one-night stands and all that with his cousins, if he felt that I had one-night stands with his cousin or his brother, why would he turn around and have unprotected sex with me?
Up next, a lot of hidden skeletons came out of the closet.
Seriously, it was just sexual relations. If it was just sexual relationship, why were your clothes at my house? He was always at my house until he went missing for like 4 days, and I didn't know where he was at because usually he would at least text me or call me even if he didn't come over. And like out of nowhere, like for 4 days straight, I didn't hear from him or anything. And he came back out of nowhere, new sneakers, dressed and everything. Now, mind you, in the midst of everything.
How would you explain these accusations, Mr. Rutledge?
And this was just a casual sexual relationship.
And that's all it was. That's all she good for.
Your Honor, can I just say this? All I'm good for, but I must have been good for a lot because he used to ride his 9-year-old daughter Peking Gray bike to my house. I'm not gonna come here and lie or anything like it. I know what I used to be, and I have changed a lot. And also in the same breath, like I said, I'm 22 years old.
FYI, the defendants had a natural tendency to get brutal. Check out what they said when the baby was born.
While I was in hospital, she was there. She sent her mother pictures, and I guess she sent Mr. Rutledge pictures, and he called, and he told her that he hoped my baby died. But everything that I know that he said about me, mostly she told me. Just like he said he didn't want my daughter around his other kids, that came out her mouth.
Okay.
No.
And breathe, Miss Brown.
What is wrong with these people?
Please don't tell this court you said something vile.
I would never say that. I have kids of my own. She said, I hope the baby dies. I'm not gonna tell you what she told me about my kids. She came to my mom's house, said she was gonna leave her daughter on the doorstep of my mom. I said, don't do that because I'm not there, no one's there.
This back and forth makes no sense. DNA envelope is our only solution, I guess.
Mr. Rutledge are her father.
What? Now what? What y'all gotta say now? What do y'all gotta say now?
Jackson III had been fooled for the whole 20 years, but no more.
You are suing the defendant because you claim that your 20-year marriage has been based on a complete fraud. You state that it was not until 1 year into your marriage that Ms. Jackson told you that you may not be the biological father of James Jackson IV. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Those are very strong allegations, aren't they?
I think I've been tricked, Your Honor. She knew my past. She knew that once she told me that she was pregnant, that I wanted father of my son's life, like I didn't have a father in my life. So once she told me, we got married in December of '95, a few months after she got pregnant. Come up a year into the marriage and I find out that he may not be my child, Your Honor.
Looks like the plaintiff has been playing the daddy for this long, even though he was sure of not being the father.
You're his dad.
Yes, I mean, graduation, I was there.
You were there.
His wrestling meets, I was there. His band.
Take me back to this relationship.
We met in Job Corps. We both took nursing classes together. The first time we had sex was in the Green Grass Motel. And when we was on the campus, we couldn't have sex in our dorms because it was separate dorm rooms.
But when the defendant spoke, it proved that the plaintiff was not that naive.
He was not really tricked because he went down to Kentucky to visit me. He lived in Georgia. He wanted to follow me to Kentucky.
Mr. Jackson, did you follow her to Kentucky? Did you want to have a family?
It wasn't a family thing at that time. We was just going together. And actually, I was just going to see my girlfriend that lives in Kentucky.
Ms. Jackson further told the court that she was the one being tricked.
I think Mr. Jackson is the one that tricked me. He and I kind of started hanging out, started being playful and all that. And then we went in the shower and one thing led to another. I didn't know.
Obviously, you failed to use protection at some point or we wouldn't be here.
Your Honor, the only time that we did not use protection was one time.
Okay, how did this duo end up together?
To marry her instantly like that, within a couple of months.
Well, when she told me she was pregnant, that's what I think the right thing to do because I didn't have a father in my life. I was gonna be a father in my son's life.
Suit is that you feel like it was all a fraud.
Right, because
she manipulated and defrauded you.
Right, because up until now,
I
never knew that it was somebody else that could be the father.
So we are getting to the doubt part.
The doubts begin to set in.
The only time that she could have got pregnant was those 3 days out of August. August 95, 11th, 12th, and 13th is the only 3 days she could have got pregnant. From after we got married.
With Jackson.
And my son is born on June 8th, 1996.
June 8th.
You're looking at the only woman that's been pregnant 10 and a half months in history.
So let's ask if the Wi-Fi is any reason for her man to have these doubts.
It was just because
80-20.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
80% maybe the other guy kind of told and he's kind of light-skinned. We use protection, Your Honor. I was a little drunk. We were partying. We got up and it was the next day and we was out there at the beach and then it was like...
Don't tell me anything else.
Oh, that is quite a bomb to drop after so many years.
This was not your son. Did she ever give you any indication? Did she say that?
As we drinking again, Your Honor, she tells me in the hotel I was the father. I possibly could be the father one time and it kind of messed me up at the end. He said she never did.
And do you remember saying that?
He got me drunk at the house and trying to get the truth out of me, Your Honor.
Yes,
I was
so did he get the truth out of you?
Wait, what caused her to get the truth? they don't need paternity court, I guess.
You said he got you drunk and tried to get the truth out of you, and you told him that James Jackson IV was not his child.
Yeah.
Is that the truth?
He always tell that to his daughter too, that the
So
boys
is that
don't look
what you
like him.
believed, or were you saying what you believed he wanted to hear?
He got me confused, Your Honor, because I was drunk.
Next, the judge gave the son the opportunity to express himself.
He's been there through my graduations, he's been there through my wrestling meets, band, everything.
Beautiful. And I can see, Mr. Jackson, this really hurts you.
I was asleep. I overheard them arguing. I climbed downstairs, sneaking up on the argument. I overheard that he possibly couldn't have been my father. I was 5 years old at the time.
I guess there's a lot at stake for the Jacksons.
Mr. Jackson, you are his father.